right into the first topic. We have Rob on today because you're pretty passionate about this one. Amazon, they're searching the country to say, hey, where do we want to have our second headquarters, right? Sacramento, one of the 12 cities that they're, how does this work?
So, okay, so
it's being looked at.
If you know the story of Amazon, we lived the story of Amazon.
Yes.
One day you could buy books online. Well, I want to
and the
read
website
a book.
was miserable.
I want to sit in the bookstore and I want to read it and leaf through it. So that'll never work. And then they moved on to everything else, pet food and everything. And you know, so many of us have a Prime subscription, and you can get dog food. You can get some stuff the same day.
You can get anything.
So they're very successful, and they're branching out into all these things. In fact, they're growing so rapidly at their home base in Seattle that they own something like 40 or 50% of the prime commercial real estate in downtown Seattle. So they're just running out of room. Yeah, they're just running out of room. And I don't see them, I really don't see them slowing down anytime soon. I mean, they've got, everything's working their way. So they put out this very public ask to get bids from cities and communities on, hey, do you think that we should come to your city for our second headquarters? Hashtag HQ2. And Sacramento area has put together their proposal. They had a big thing at the Golden One Center, which is sort of the shining example of, hey, these are the kind of things we can do in Sacramento and the region, because it's, I mean, if you live in the region, you go to a Sacramento Kings, it's more than Sacramento. It's about the region as a whole.
And what it can offer.
Exactly,
and
they had
Amazon.
the mayor, and so there's been momentum building in this community for a long time. Things have been happening, so there are some ideas that, you know what, maybe Sacramento is, maybe it's a long shot, but they at least have a shot. And you know, they're competing against Denver, DC, Atlanta, Houston. I mean, there's big cities with lots of money, lots of opportunity, lots of really good bids as well. Toronto even is getting in the mix. They've got a strong bid. Yeah, everyone wants it because this is what they say is 50,000 jobs, and a lot of those high-paying jobs. They're looking at $5 billion in construction. They want major things for public transport. So if you don't work at Amazon, you don't care. You go to the grocery store, everything's fine. You live your life now as you always have and always will. You're going to benefit from some of these side things coming in that they want, like public transit. It's going to be part of the bid and part of what they want. But a couple extra things. I'm sorry, I'm like dominating this conversation here. But I just want to point out one other thing because it'll open up to some of the avenues and things that I've been looking at. In the Seattle Times, they have a really interesting report out today saying that, you know, they're looking at some of the other things. People think about, you know, tax breaks and things like that, but maybe there's other psychological things that come into play when they're actually sitting down, because for some of this, dollars and cents, data, all of that, but some of this is sort of a gut feeling when you have such a big decision. So they're looking at where the executives went to school. Is there some sort of relationship there? Do they have, if they're an executive at Amazon, you have a second or third home probably. So maybe some of those are in the California area, maybe in Tahoe, who knows. So they're trying to look at all these other things. And one of the things that one economist zeroed in on is, hey, as they're doing such a huge endeavor, there's going to be a lot of back and forth between headquarters 1 and headquarters 2, and one of the deciding factors is if everyone's going back and forth, they just want to make it easy on themselves. So do you want to fly, you know, 2 legs to Toronto with customs, or would you rather take an hour, hour and a half flight from Seattle down to Sacramento? So they picked Sacramento for certain key factors as the dark horse in all of this. And I was surprised. I sort of felt as a gut, hey, there's a lot of opportunity here. Things are happening. It's right close to the Bay Area, which is, you know, the hub of almost everything these days. Exactly. So maybe we have a chance. So what do you think? Am I crazy? Is this article crazy? Let us know.
We got a couple of comments on our Facebook page when we posted the article. Some people were saying that's going to drive up home prices and traffic because now with the Bay Area being what it is, a lot of people are moving further towards the Sacramento area. So they're saying this is just going to cause more people to come and saturate the area. And for the sake of home prices, they're like, no, stay away.
Right.
Yeah.
That could be a thing.
That could be a huge downside because as they've seen in Seattle, home prices are, Seattle's one of the highest growing home price areas in the whole country, and they've built a lot of nice apartments. They've built out a little bit because you can, but Seattle's kind of like the Bay Area. They're constricted by bays and islands and things like that. They have some infrastructure issues, so you can only build so much. So they're building up. They're trying to do what they can, but it's gotten very expensive in Seattle in the last 5 years.
I guess it begs the question, what type of city, what type of community do you want to be part of, right? Because if you've been here for a long time, I can understand why you like your quaint little charming place. That's part of the reason what drew me here, and I'm a millennial. I came from Las Vegas, where just on one strip you get every ounce of entertainment that you want, so highly entertaining. But there was a sense of charm about Sacramento that drew me to this area, and I'm a California girl, so it's a different part of California. But I'm also not opposed, again, millennial minded, I'm not opposed to the idea that I'm part of a city that is on the verge, and that's how I explain it to so many people who ask me. I say, I feel as though, and I can tell because you go to the restaurants on a Saturday night, they're full, but they're not overcrowded.
Right.
There's sometimes a wait, but you can still make a reservation and get in the night of. Like, and again, been in towns where unless you know someone, you're not getting on a list. Unless you are someone or you can afford it, you can't afford some of these spots. Everything just has this charm because you're getting that spillover from this city. I'm going to go inland about an hour 20 and be able to come to this town where it's cheaper to live. You still get a sense of downtown, midtown, that whole area. But what I love is that the Greater Sacramento Economic Council, SAC Economic Council, which I did have a chance to talk to. It was one of my first interviews when I moved here, and I was captivated. Their headquarters are right there next to Safeway in downtown or in Midtown, and so right there where they just put the new ice blocks up. Beautiful office space there, and their video is what drew me in because they showcase in that video from the Economic Council that the greater NorCal Sacramento region, it features the farmlands, right? It features technology, it features the arts. You have Garibaldi and you have some of the other artists who were featured in that video. In this specific video and the bid that they're submitting to Amazon headquarters by tonight is the deadline, and then Amazon will pick in 2018, so that's not far away, just depends what month next year. But in that bid, the book that they're submitting is about this thick, and it just showcases everything. But they're using, we as Sacramento, we can say that, right? It's our town. They're using virtual reality goggles to showcase in a video what it looks like through your experience, so that these people who at Amazon who are deciding can go, oh, it's one thing to see it on paper and flip through an entire book that looks like this, but when you can actually go through it and see that the Sacramento International Airport, not crowded, it's not LAX, it's a great, I love our airport. I love in the surrounding area, there's not much there. It just seems to me it's untapped, it's on the verge, it's ready to explode, and if Amazon doesn't get on us sooner than later, then they may have missed their opportunity.
It's a lot of good points there.
You know what though, this could be a good opportunity for any place, right? Because now the topic is jobs. I can make the argument for Michigan. I'm from Flint, Michigan. The GM with the market turning in 2008. You had plants closing, Buick, Saturn, Pontiac, continuing on and on and on. Oldsmobile shut down, Saab. A lot of places in Michigan are ghost towns where there used to be huge factories and huge warehouses. Now nothing, just concrete and fences. Jobs gone. Flint was when I was in high school, about 200,000 people. Now it's down to just under 100,000. So again, you know, you can make the argument for there, or in the South, you have places like Atlanta or Houston or Dallas where there's lots of land. People will probably say you can get cheaper workers in places like that. So this could be a game changer for whoever gets it. Sacramento, again, it's a good climate up here. The weather's nice. It's centrally located to major cities, again, because if you want to pop up to Canada, Toronto, Seattle, but then hop down to Los Angeles, it's not that big of a deal. So whoever gets it, this is kind of like the golden ticket. Like whoever gets it,
are we overhyping it, you think? Because they're bringing jobs, that's huge. They're bringing popularity. I mean, anywhere you know that an Amazon is headquartered or a Zappos, we have Zappos in Las Vegas, they're headquartered in the downtown area. That just brought this sense of cool to the downtown region, which for so long you guys probably have visited the in Las Vegas, downtown.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking.
The car where it's just run down part of town. Oh gosh. Well, help me out here.
Good hotel deals there.
Good hotel deals, but it's sort of amped up the area because it's like, oh,
right.
Zappos is there now, you know, the distribution center, and they do a lot of good for the community because places like Amazon, they have money and they want to be able to give back to a community as well. So a lot of times before schools had started, school years had started, Zappos had this whole backpack drive where they filled backpacks with all of the school equipment and school supplies for kids, and kids who were or didn't have the means, or parents who didn't have the means brought the kids, and they distributed these cool things. So you're going to get that new energy in a town, which could be cool. I do want to get to some numbers here. So Sacramento is making the case that we have 12 sites of more than 50 million square feet of office space ready for development. Get going right here, right now. I don't know how that compares to other towns and other places, but you mentioned Houston, you mentioned, is Austin on the list?
Austin's definitely on the list.
Because I feel like those have already exploded. You're sort of
just different ways. Austin is becoming more of like a young millennial
South by
city,
Southwest
South by Southwest. You got a lot of tech people coming there, a lot of entertainers focusing on because of that that festival. But one comment I want to point out, Christina Benavides, if I butchered your name, girl, charge it to my head and not my heart. I'm sorry.
Charge it to my head and my heart.
She said one of their RFP requirements was a public transit system. Is there one there?
Well, yeah, exactly. Some places, look, let's just be honest. Some places definitely have better public transit than what we have in Sacramento. However, there's always been investment. There's been a need. It's used. They're full very often. So perhaps we have the bones. We have good bones, and it could be enhanced and improved.
I guess I would love to know from Amazon's perspective, what do they want, right? You talk about where do the execs have property, because no one wants to be too far from home, and they do a lot of traveling, I'm sure. No one wants to be hopping and getting into airports that are just unmanageable. But you look at that, and then you also, as a company, do you want to go into a town where you can help finish off the culture, like, you know what I mean? Help finish off the construction to make it what it's going to be? Or do you want to be part of an already booming place like in Austin? Do you want to be in it where people are already at? Do you want your employees to be somewhere, you know, like you said, close to Seattle, where then they can start families? I mean, you have to think about that. You know, think about these employees who are going to work there. No one wants to leave Amazon, I don't think, unless it's a bad place to work, but it's a great job. So how are the school districts? You know, all those things you have to take into an account. So I'm just excited. I love being part of the hype.
Megan is excited. First, Rob was super excited. Now Megan is
I'm
on
super
board,
amped on this. I'm going to start. I need to do some more reading,
Here's
too.
a couple other things. May I add?
Yeah.
One of the things that they're interested in, and that's in the Seattle Times report, you should definitely read it.
I'll
I'm going to
definitely
post
read
it.
that,
It's really good. It's very thorough. It's good. And they want to be where there's an incoming influx of well-educated, young, ready-to-go people.
Okay.
And diversity as well. And let me tell you, California, the UC system and the Cal State system and the community college system, which, by the way, the first year is free now, with something that the governor signed. There's a lot of higher education opportunities in the state. A lot of people that grew up here, they just want to stay and go to school here because there's opportunities. I mean, there's so many different things. You can go to a couple years to a community college and they have so many programs right into a Cal State school, right into a UC school. So the pipeline is here that you grow up here, you go to school here, and with opportunities like this, then you stay here, and that's the ultimate arc of any state government is they want their homegrown talent to stay here at home, because for the public schools you're investing in the students. Seems like a weird thing.
And then you're pushing them out to another community to reap the benefits.
And in other places, I used to live in just for a year, but I was in a place called New Zealand, and their big issue was
a small place called New
Zealand.
Zealand.
It was small. There was like 3 million people there. But anyway, one of their big topics there was the great brain drain, because the problem is that they were a small country. People loved living there, but they got out of school. There weren't as many opportunities, so they'd go over to London for a couple of years to make money. They go over to Australia, and you had a problem where a lot of the young, well-educated, ready-to-go students and then young adults, they just went other places. So this could retain a lot of California talent right here at home.
California talent, and regionally, right? I hear so many. When I was down at San Diego State for a couple of years, so many of the sisters I had rushed with in my sorority were from Northern California. Everyone in NorCal at the time wanted to get out and get down. They wanted to get to sunny SoCal, to the beach in San Diego, live in PB, do that whole thing. And here I was going SoCal, like that's just home. We lived in suburbia growing up. If you're new to our show, Rob and I grew up in the same neighborhood, Rancho Cucamonga, Alta Loma community. And you know, that's never
we borrow
a thing.
sugar from her every once in a while.
A couple eggs if we need it. But that was like, we're from SoCal. Like that was our thing. Beach is 45 minutes away. Then we can go inland. We can go to wine country and Temecula. We can do whatever we want. But that intrigue of SoCal and Hollywood has been so hot for so long. Now, if there's an intrigue for NorCal, it just makes sense to me. Why wouldn't NorCal want something else to say, hey, because there is a sense of competition. People say a lot, 2 different states. California is one large state, but really Northern California, Southern California, very different. I do want to get to some comments here. Kimberly Morgan, also from Alta Loma, correct. Hey, Sac State right here, she says. Woohoo. Nicole Pine Norman, good morning, all from Napa. I think this would be great for the capital city. Sacramento is in need of something like this. It's the capital after all, yet it's overshadowed by so many cities here in California. That's a good point.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Now, when is the decision going to be made?
2018.
So we got to wait.
Either
But
January
you know,
or
it's almost the end
December.
of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure they have some plans. Susie McKelvey Surf, how about Folsom?
We've never been closer to 2018 than today.
I
will say that again tomorrow, and then I'm going to stop saying that on the 31st.
On the 31st.
Of
I will
December.
not say that anymore.
Of December.
But wait, how about Folsom? She said there are a lot of people up here that can't commute to Sac. So if you headquarter Amazon in Folsom and they want to bring people in who want to live in like the downtown area, I mean, then they can create the transit system. That's true.
Oh, yeah.
One of them, go ahead.
But I'm intrigued with what Cornelia said. I mean, this would be great for the region, but there are other communities where it would absolutely change the path entirely. Places like Flint, other places as well. And so you just know, I mean, let's just say Sacramento doesn't get it. Well, our traffic doesn't change that much. Our home prices don't change that much. We still got a lot going on here, and somebody else will benefit from that in a huge way.
Tammy Collins, a local, she said this is her hometown, so born and raised here. It's becoming a big LA. I sure miss the country part of Sacramento and Elk Grove.
Yeah, you hear that all the time.
See, and I still, coming from, again, in LA and Vegas, I still feel the country part of it. Like, don't think that that's gone away. It's probably not at all what it used to be, but it is the charming part about this town. It still feels different. Will one business like Amazon change all of that? I wonder.
And as far as the feel, and I've said this a few times, coming immediately from LA to here, sometimes I feel like I'm in the South up here.
So interesting.
Because you got a lot of countryside, a lot of farmland. There's cows walking in, and there's turkeys walking in the parking lot in my apartment complex. Like what? I'm like, who are these turkeys? Like, what's your name? What is your name?
What's your name, sir?
Do you have a home?
What apartment do you live in? Who's your mother? So a lot of it, the feel, especially as soon as I moved up here, I was like, this feels like living in the South for some reason.
In 1 year, you've been here almost a year. In 1 year, has it changed?
I still feel like it's the South. It has a lot of Southern elements because again, when you have a lot of land and space and agricultural roots, that's kind of the same vibe in Southern states like a Georgia or Alabama, Mississippi. So I felt, and a lot of people have Southern values. I bump into a lot of people with Southern accents, but to them it's not Southern accents. It's just outside of Sacramento. It's like an outer county experience. So sometimes it feels like this is like a southern state within the state.
I have been. Go ahead.
I was born in '93. There was no stop signs.
Born in '93.
Yeah, '93. Yeah, there was no stop signs on Oak Grove Boulevard.
No stop signs on Elk Grove Boulevard.
I used to ride my dirt bike on a piece of land that would later become a high school.
Wow, and it's changed like that. I mean, you have those stories even from Rancho Cucamonga.
Yeah, well, yeah, Elk Grove is one of the booming suburbs in the whole state of California for years. I would say probably a decade. It was one of the top growing regions.
Fastest growing city in America, I believe, 2007 or something like that.
There we go.
Mid 2000s, it was the fastest growing city in America.
Yep.
Wow.
And that's Mason, who someone said, give that floor director a cough drop. So guess what? He has a cough drop in his mouth now. Duly noted. Okay.